Hi there, you're watching the IndianExpress.com. The fact that Tatas have had an olive branch from none other than Mamata Banerjee, where she is now offered a new land deal. Remember, the Tatas had to literally abandon the dream Nano project in Singur, which was spearheaded by TMC chief Mamata Banerjee. To talk about more on this, I'm joined by my colleague Akash, who is going to give us a lot more perspective of what is this deal all about. Akash, the fact that what does it essentially mean for Mamata Banerjee and the state of West Bengal now that she's offering a new land deal for the Tatas?
Well, so far they've just said that land is available and they'd like one of the Tata companies to come and take it. It means a lot for Bengal basically because it's the same problem that happened in 2008 and before. Why Buddhadev Bhattacharya and the CPM government wanted the Tatas to come in and industry to come in is because the state needs industry. The agricultural economy is flagging, like in many other parts of the country. You need industry to generate employment, and gradually you have to show the voters that you've done something, and employment generation is one of the best ways to do that. So keeping that in mind is the same problem that the state has had and many other states have for a long time, is how to transition into an industrial job generating economy, which traditionally you think is going to happen if you bring in manufacturing industries. The Tatas, it's also a symbolic thing because they're one of the biggest, oldest companies in the country. They have a long association with East India. Bengal, but also broadly Jamshedpur, the old Bengal presidency. So I think it's important in that sense. I think firstly, economically it's very important. For Mamata Banerjee, the chief minister, if nothing else, even if you didn't go into the history, anyone would boast about getting in such a big industry if they can do it right.
Right. The fact that we all know how Mamata Banerjee was in fact the face that spearheaded that entire Singur protest, eventually leading to the end of a 34-year-old left rule.
Yeah.
Don't you think this is kind of a dichotomy on the part of Mamata Banerjee on going back, saying that we're now ready to offer another land deal for the Tatas?
Yes, it is. And that's what the Supreme Court judgment is coming. That's why one of the things she did today, the land deal is actually the secondary story, but the big thing she did personally was she went to Singur and gave back the land title after the Supreme Court judgment, and I think there's some money involved as well. The compensation to the people who were against giving up their land for the Nano project. She was the one. It was a TMC protest. It was the beginning of the end for left rule, whose base was also the farmers and the peasantry.
Right.
Always has been. The farmers are poor people generally vote for communists if anyone does. So that was the thing then. Now there is a dichotomy because she was the face of the protest, but she's trying to transition, and I think this is a very good move. In terms of she's trying to transition from being a protest leader, now she's had a firebrand protesting leader, to a chief minister, to a person who belongs to the establishment.
To someone who's looking after the development of Bengal.
Development, yes, but not just development. But in terms of she would argue that looking after the peasantry, which forms the majority, is looking after the development. But not just that. She's saying, listen, I'm going to look after the peasants. She called this Supreme Court verdict, which is actually in some ways an anti-Tata verdict. There's still some cases pending. The West Bengal government and the Tatas have not sorted everything out. They're still in court, but she's basically saying, listen, you can be pro-farmer and pro-industry. Now that's an easy thing to say.
But it's a lot more difficult to do it.
Yeah, but it's still an important signal to send out. To say that, listen, yes, I was the person who led the protest, but that was not a problem with the Tatas or industry. It was a problem with that particular deal. And by inviting you back, I'm showing you that I'm more than that. I'm more than a protesting person. I'm working for industry as well. So it's actually a signaling to the broader. So if the Tatas come, then others can come.
So in that case, what are the kind of hurdles do you think Mamata Banerjee will have to go through in order to get more economic boost for the state in terms of Tatas getting in land?
I think, so the first thing is they've offered land. I think it's not as close to Calcutta as developed to Singur. It's in Bardhaman, Purulia and near Kharagpur actually. Kharagpur is quite a nice area. But it's going to be practically free land, tax incentives, a lot of the same things that were on offer earlier, which are often on offer when you're when state governments are trying to get industry, or national governments for that matter. India does it first. So imagine it's like a Make in India offer, but for Bengal, right? You're saying come make in Bengal, and you're going to get that. Now, the hurdle again, which is the easiest one, is that Buddhadev Bhattacharya, her predecessor, the CPM, wanted to do the exact same thing. We built a base with the peasantry for over 34 years. The CPM government had done land redistribution. Operation Barga, it was called. That's what everyone's credits with building a lot of their base. And now you want to expand. You need employment because you also need to give the people more, like we said at the beginning. But that balancing isn't easy. And especially when your core is the people who are likely to protest. So she has to be it's a welcome move for Bengal and for her, but she has to be very careful walking that tightrope. So when you're giving away this land, it can't be the 20%. You can't have 1,000 people coming up tomorrow led by a political party. Because if the opposition does one thing, they'll make sure if she messes up, that they're going to do to her what she did to them. Which is to say that, so that's going to be the biggest thing. It's easier to, but she's building this, so like it's not an unthought out move. They have a land bank. She's been, this thing with the Tatas, this sort of friendship, bonhomie has been going on for a while. She was just in Munich last week. Two of the Tata's biggest chairmen, I think the MD of Tata Steel and the MD of Tata Metal Links went with her to speak on her behalf. They were part of the delegation going to Munich telling German businessmen that, all right, come in West Bengal. Now that's a big thing because the Tatas are huge in Europe, one of their primary locations. I think they get a large amount of their revenue from that area. So the détente has happened, but it is a big challenge. If she cannot mess up the deal, if it happens.
Clearly,
if the
she's
Tata.
definitely walking a very tight rope there, but the fact that it is going to be a very welcome move as far as the people of West Bengal are concerned. Thank you so much, Akash, for getting us all this
Thank you.
perspective. For more news and updates, log on to IndianExpress.com.